Good morning, everybody. And I am very excited to share with you in today's topic, which is, as you can see above, the #1 class of the 12-week program that I have called Life on Fire. So you can check out more details on that on lifeonfireprogram.com. There's a video there that actually goes into more detail. But if you scroll down, you'll see class numero uno is defining your why. And here's why it's so important. So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. For those of you who don't know me, I grew up in a group which was very, very restrictive, lots of rules, and eventually it just didn't work for me. Oh, and here comes my cat. And so what happened 10 years ago is that I just decided that, while that works for so many people, and this is most certainly not a judgment against people who are still, belong to that group, it wasn't working for me anymore, and I couldn't do it. So 10 years ago, I left that group, and it really kind of catastrophically blew up my life, and it was very, very difficult time. So what I thought was that I was actually achieving freedom, and I did achieve a certain level of freedom, and I started my own business, and that was what I thought my why was. So for a long time, I actually employed people who wanted to make a transition out of a 9-to-5, and they weren't sure how to go into freelance mode. So I have a team of about 10 people, and they work all over the world from wherever it makes them most productive and most happy. And people have come and gone through my business, and I have really felt that that was a role I was playing. And so I thought that that was my why. But over time, I get my core team, and I don't need any more people. And so they stayed, and I'm like, well, now what's my why? And I was running an agency, a Facebook and Instagram marketing agency, and I was good at it and just making great money. But I wanted to stab myself with hot pokers every time I got up in the morning because I couldn't find the joy in it. And hi, Matthew, good to see you. Good to see you again. So about 6 months ago or so, I went through a process with a different coaching program. I thought it was going to be productivity coaching. What it ended up being was just like blow up my life coaching. And my mind literally went boom, because what I realized was that I continued to kind of be affected by my past, and I let it continue to control my life. And in that moment, I realized that my why, the thing that drives me, is an overriding need to help people overcome really, really difficult situations and find happiness and riches. So many people think you can be happy, but that if you are happy that you won't be able to make a lot of money because you have to compromise away things to make your life happy. Other people think that you should just be rich, but I've met a lot of rich people. My dad used to run a $4 billion steel company, so I knew people who had a lot of money. Some of them were the most miserable people I've ever met. Now, others were able to have a blend of being happy and being rich. And really, there's one person who comes to mind. So again, I'm in Canada. And my father had the privilege of working with Ed Clark. And Ed Clark used to run TD Canada Trust, really expanded into the US. And he is kind of someone who I epitomize as being happy and settled, but also very, very wealthy. And I wondered, why is it that so many other people don't have that? And so what I've been studying, and my Life on Fire program, so again, lifeonfireprogram.com, it's all about how you can be just like someone like Ed Clark. Don't be the rich guy who's miserable, because if you're just focused on, income, you're gonna be, nose to the grindstone, and you might get there. But when you achieve those riches, it's gonna feel as empty as it was when you began, when you had no money, because you haven't discovered what really makes you want to get up in the morning. And so what makes me get up in the morning is knowing that I can affect meaningful changes on the lives of the people who I'm talking to in videos like this, who go through my programs. And that is, it's a huge motivator for me. So there's a process we go through in lesson #1. And it's called 7 Levels Deep. And I tried to do this video live stream using Zoom, but Zoom wasn't working this morning because I wanted to show you live. But if you're listening, if you could go into the comments and type in this URL, it's www.7levelsdeep. So 7levelsdeep.com. And it's a very simple tool that will go through a process. It's called 7 Levels Deep. And it starts off with what's important to you, right? So what's important to you could be that you want to get in better shape, that you want to feel healthier, that you want to write a book, that you'd like to be a keynote speaker, that you want to earn $1 million, right? So that's what you put as what's important to you. And then you have what I call like the annoying 5-year-old who asks you 7 times, why is that important to you? And the reason, thanks Karen for posting it. So Karen posted the link in there. You guys can click on it and you can actually do this live with me right now. And I encourage you to do that. What it does is when you ask yourself, why is that important to you? The first 4 answers that you give, they come from your head. But when you really start drilling down, and you might have to do this a couple of times, I had to, but when you get to the 7th question of why is the previous thing important to you, now you're getting to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter for me was, thank you, cat. Here we go. The heart of the matter, not being my cat, is I wanted to be able to help other people be as happy as I was. I wake up absolutely thrilled every single day, but most of my 43 years has not been like that. Like the vast majority, like 90% of it has been either waking up fearful or stressed or sad or confused. And it's just because, the whole reason for that is I didn't go back to the beginning and go through this process. I didn't know what really would make me feel that I was leading a meaningful and fulfilling life. And so 6 months ago, when I went through this process and I defined my why as being taking the work that I've done in the past 10 years after leaving that group and losing everything, like everything. Marriage went south, lost my job, left my entire social network. I didn't have friends, like 0, grand fat 0. And I had to move and I was separated from my kids for the first time, because like we were divorced, we had 2 children and we share them 50-50, which if anyone's going, looking at how to make a divorce work, 50-50 is really, really amazing because there's no power structure, but still I lost everything. And I've spent the past 10 years rebuilding, and I have learned strategies and I have got mindsets, and I've tried every single business type that pretty well is. And I've landed on the ultimate formula that gives me the life that I want. So I'm not working 90 hours a week anymore like I was with my agency. I'm working as much as I want to work with the people that delight me every single day. I am making enough money to not only, be able to fund my team, but fund a super awesome life for myself. I get to travel because, again, back in my past life, I didn't travel. I didn't go anywhere. A whole bunch of reasons as to why that happened, but I don't want that to be my life anymore. I want it to be different. And so the process of 7 Levels Deep will allow you to start really critically looking at yourself to say, what is behind everything that I do? And for a long time, what was behind everything I did was fear. And fear actually shrinks your brain. It makes your brain smaller and it forces you to look down and inward. And when you're looking down and when you're looking inward, and because you're afraid, you cannot achieve success. And I was very successful in running my agency. And yet there was a lot of fear that was driving me because I was income focused as opposed to impact focused. And when I changed it all around, as scary as it was to say, okay, I am no longer going to worry about where my next dollar is coming from. I'm going to worry about the level of meaningful change that I can bring to the next person who comes my way. That is what I'm going to worry about. Those are the people that I'm going to focus on because they're the ones that give me the most. So Matthew, you've already done it. That's amazing. And I really encourage everyone else to follow Matthew's example of going through the 7 Levels Deep process. I use this for everything. So when I wanted to get in better shape, I did 7 Levels Deep because I wanted to make sure that I had the right perspective and the right mindset going into getting in better shape. And because of that, and here's why this is so important. When you have your mindset in the right place, when you understand what drives you, what you should do next becomes incredibly clear. And that's why in the Life on Fire program, it's lesson number 1. And a lot of people go back and they re-listen. So it's a 30-minute video, and then there's live support calls afterwards. People go back and they listen to that training again, and they're like, okay. And then they do 7 levels deep again. And then they're like, okay, I think I get it. But then they listen to it again. And the people who go through this process and really dig deep and be honest with yourself, they're the ones that then know what their next step should be. They know who needs them the most, because that's lesson number 2. Who needs you? If you know this is what you're trying to affect, the change you're trying to affect for people, the next step is now who needs you, right? Who can you talk to? Who can you reach out to that when you do, they're like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? But again, if you're just looking inward and you're fearful and you're chasing that almighty dollar, you will not be able to focus on the right people. And sure, you're going to get people maybe into your sales funnel, but it could be the wrong people, right? So I had a lot of times where I attracted lots of money, but the people who were in my funnel were the wrong people. So they came and they immediately left again. And so that's a huge waste of time. And I had this constantly revolving door, and that's exhausting when you're always like people in, people out, people in, people out. And any good marketer knows that it's cheaper to keep a client than to get new ones. But if you don't have a focus on the impact and the change you're trying to affect for people, you're going to have that revolving door too. And you're going to exhaust yourself. That's why if you're working 90 hours a week, that could be one of the reasons why. Because you've got this revolving door, because you haven't figured out really what it is that you are delivering that is helpful, meaningful, impactful, and timely for the people who need you the most. So I really encourage you guys to go and do the 7 levels deep exercise, and do it for like literally anything. What is important to you right now? Just come up with one sentence that shows what is important to you. You may want to have a 7-figure business. That might be one. So again, that was an example that I had. So actually, no, I'll go through the example. I know you guys can't see it. So I'll go through an example just verbally right now. And again, I apologize that Zoom didn't work for me. Otherwise, I could show you this to you live. So what do you want to do? So I want to grow to a 7-figure business, right? Question number 1, why is that important to you? So why is growing 7 figures important to you? So hitting that milestone means I've made it in my mind. Question 2, why is making it important to you? It's validation that I have been able to help so many people that my bank account shows the result. Okay, why is that important to you? So the answer to that is, well, there are so many people that need what I have that the more that I spread it, the more people will lead healthier and wealthier lives. Okay, why is that important to you that people lead healthier, wealthier lives? So, so question number 5, I never had help starting my own business. So if I can reduce someone's stress with my programs or products, I feel like it's a good day and I'm doing the right thing. So next question, why is doing the right thing important to you? Doing the right thing has always driven me since childhood. It's how I was raised. So why is it that last piece important to you? And it's I want to be a good person in everything I do in business and in life. And that's my 7 levels deep. Right? That's actually something that I wrote for myself, and it's what drives me. I want to be a good person. I want to push more good into the world, and yet what's in so many cases, what is stopping people from feeling good and being accomplished is some of these fears, some of these stories we tell ourselves, and our inability to actually define our why. And when I went through that process, was the impetus for all of my programs. So now I have 4 pillars to my company. Pillar number 1 is Ignite Your Fire. It's a very simple monthly masterclass. It's $59 for the whole year. I've got a Facebook group. It's got a little bit of training, bonus trainings in it. And what I wanted was if people, not everyone has a lot of money, but everyone has a need to have access to this information. So I wanted it to be available. It's not really involving me, but I only go live once a month. But there's training there for people who maybe don't have the cash but need the information. My second pillar is the Life on Fire program. So that's a 3-month program, which brings you from right where we are today into your ability to double, triple, quadruple your business, do whatever it is that you want. Some of the people who went through it, he's almost hit $9 million in sales since he started the program 3 months ago. And so, you know, that's the kind of what that program does. Excuse me. The third pillar are my destination masterminds. These are brand spanking new, and I am just on the cusp of signing in a contract in Curacao. And Curacao, if you're not familiar, is in Aruba. So it's 4 days, and you come together, everyone, so it's about 20 people. We come together, and we strategize about where your business is, and there are 3 things you can do to double your business in the next 12 months. And we go through, and by the time you leave the beautiful island of Curacao, you know exactly what your program should be to accelerate your business, but to do so in a way that you get a fulfilling life. And so that's coming up. And then the fourth pillar, and that's going to be next year, I'm going to have a certification program. So if you want to learn if you want to become a coach and but you don't have a curriculum, I'm going to be able to provide that to you. So those are the 4 things I want to do, each one all designed around my why. So if you don't know your why, your marketing isn't going to work, your pitches are going to suck, you're not going to be relatable to people, and you're not going to grow as much as you should. So go through the process. I hope you guys have found this helpful, and I encourage you to go through this multiple times, because the more times you go through it, the easier it will become each and every time. Reach out if you have any problems. You guys know where I am. And if you want information about Life on Fire program, it's lifeonfireprogram.com. Have a great afternoon, guys.